Welcome to your personalized deep dive.
Oh, cool.
Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at this article you wanted to explore.
Okay.
Daring Boldly into the Future by Frederick Osei-Manu.
Yeah.
It's all about how to approach the future, not passively, but with courage and action.
Right.
What stood out to you initially when you read this?
I think the thing that struck me the most was how the article frames the future, not as something that we just sort of like enter,
Right.
but as something that we actively create.
Yeah.
It really challenges that sort of like, oh, well, just kind of letting things happen to us.
It definitely grabs your attention.
Yeah.
And it wastes no time driving that point home. Right from the start, it emphasizes how being prepared for the future gives you a real advantage.
I agree.
In fact, the author quotes Marcus Aurelius.
Okay.
Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to,
Yeah.
with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. How do you interpret that quote?
Well, I think it's such a powerful reminder that the future isn't some like separate entity,
Right.
The skills that we hone today, our ability to like think critically and problem solve and adapt, those are the tools that we'll use to navigate whatever comes our way.
It's like we're building our own toolkit
Exactly.
for the future, piece by piece in the present.
Yeah, I love that analogy, the toolkit.
Yeah.
That's so true.
The article then goes on to say that we don't just enter the future, we create it.
Yeah.
And it uses a quote from Leonard Sweet to really hammer that point home.
Okay.
The future is not something we enter. The future is something we create.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's such a crucial shift in perspective, right? We often talk about the future as if it's this predetermined path.
Right.
But this quote suggests we have agency.
Yeah.
We have a hand in shaping what's to come.
It's a very empowering idea, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Like we're given this raw material, our talents, our time, our circumstances, and we have the power to sculpt it into something meaningful.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important point that the article highlights.
Okay.
This sense of urgency about the N now W.
Right.
The author reminds us that the future isn't some far-off destination.
Yeah.
It's being built in this very moment.
So it's not about waiting for the right time to start working towards our goals.
No, not at all.
It's about recognizing that every decision we make today is shaping our tomorrow.
I agree.
What kind of impact does that realization have on you?
I think it highlights the importance of being intentional with our time and our actions, Instead of just sort of drifting along, we can ask ourselves, is what I'm doing right now aligned with the future I want to create?
That's such a great question to ask ourselves regularly.
It is.
Because, as the article suggests, even small actions taken today can have a ripple effect on our future.
I agree.
It's not necessarily about making drastic changes, but about taking consistent steps in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even dedicating just like 15 minutes each day to like learning a new skill, working on a personal project, or simply reflecting on our goals can make a significant difference over time.
It's like we're planting seeds today that will blossom into the future we desire.
I love that. Yeah.
And speaking of action, the author doesn't just encourage us to take action. He urges us to be bold in our actions.
Okay.
He even says, be bold and do something. Be bold and don't look back. Be bold and go after the future you have so much desired and wanted all these years. How do you define boldness in this context?
I think for me, boldness in this context is about stepping outside of our comfort zones, taking calculated risks, and not letting fear paralyze us. It's about trusting our instincts and having the courage to pursue what truly matters to us.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not about being reckless.
No.
But about being brave enough to chase our dreams.
Right.
Even if they seem a little scary or uncertain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it ties back to that idea of creating our future. We can't shake something extraordinary if we're always playing it safe and staying within the confines of what we already know.
So boldness is about pushing those boundaries, expanding our horizons, and embracing the unknown.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And often it's in those moments of stepping outside of our comfort zones that we discover hidden strengths. And unlock new possibilities.
It's like we're uncovering a path we didn't even know existed.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so true.
And sometimes, even if we don't have the complete roadmap for the future,
right,
taking that first bold step can illuminate the way forward.
It can. It really can.
That's such an encouraging thought.
It is.
It takes some of the pressure off needing to have everything figured out beforehand. We can trust that the path will reveal itself as we move forward with courage and intention.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the journey and being open to the unexpected twists and turns that inevitably arise.
And perhaps those unexpected turns are what make the journey so exciting.
They are.
It's like we're writing our own adventure story, one bold step at a time.
I love that, yeah. It's those unexpected turns that often lead to the most rewarding discoveries and growth.
Yeah.
The article touches on this idea of uncertainty, acknowledging that we can't predict the future with complete accuracy.
That's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes that uncertainty can feel a little daunting.
It can.
How does the article suggest we reconcile this need for planning with the reality that the future is inherently unpredictable?
Well, I think it really emphasizes the importance of adaptability.
Okay.
You know, it's not about like rigidly sticking to a plan, but about being flexible, open to new information, and willing to adjust our course as needed.
Yeah.
The author even says, like, you know, sometimes the events of our lives might not make sense in the moment, but as we move forward, things often become clearer.
Yeah.
What do you think of that idea?
That's actually really comforting.
It is, yes.
It's like we don't need to have all the answers right now. We can trust that as we take action, the path will become more illuminated.
Exactly. And I think that ties back to the earlier point about boldness.
Okay.
It takes courage to step into the unknown.
Yeah.
Knowing that we might not have all the pieces of the puzzle just yet.
Right.
But as we gain experience, as we face challenges and learn from them, we become more equipped to navigate whatever comes our way.
So it's not just about planning for the future.
Right.
It's about developing the resilience and adaptability to thrive in any situation.
Precisely. The author seems to be suggesting that we should approach the future not with fear, but with a sense of empowerment. We can't control every external circumstance, but we can control how we respond to them, how we learn from them, and how we continue to move forward.
That's a really powerful shift in perspective.
It is, yeah.
It takes the focus off trying to predict the future and puts it on developing the inner strength and resourcefulness to meet whatever challenges or opportunities arise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the importance of cultivating a growth mindset.
Okay.
You know, embracing challenges as opportunities for learning.
Yeah.
Seeing setbacks as temporary.
Right.
And believing in our ability to adapt and evolve.
That reminds me of the Marcus Aurelius quote we talked about earlier. Never let the future disturb you.
Right.
It's like we're equipping ourselves with the mental and emotional weapons to face the future with confidence.
Exactly. And those weapons aren't physical. They're the qualities we develop within ourselves.
Yeah.
Our resilience, our determination, our ability to problem solve and think creatively.
Right.
These are the tools that truly empower us to shape our own destinies.
That makes me think about the author's emphasis on not looking back.
Yeah.
He says, be bold and don't look back. Why do you think that's such an important part of moving boldly into the future?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's about recognizing that dwelling on past mistakes or missed opportunities only serves to drain our energy and keep us tethered to what's already happened.
Yeah.
Instead, we should channel that energy into taking action and moving towards our goals.
It's like we're shedding the weight of the past.
Yeah.
So we can move forward more freely and powerfully.
Exactly. It's about embracing that forward momentum, trusting that we're exactly where we need to be in this moment, and focusing on the steps we can take to create the future we desire.
It's about letting go of what no longer serves us and embracing the infinite possibilities that lie ahead.
Precisely. And I think that's where the true power of boldness lies.
Yeah.
In the willingness to release the past, step into the unknown, and trust in our ability to create something extraordinary.
It's about recognizing that the future is not something that happens to us.
Yeah.
It's something we actively create through our choices, our actions, and our unwavering belief in ourselves.
And that's a truly empowering message, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
It suggests that no matter our circumstances, no matter our past experiences, we have the power to shape our own destinies.
It's a reminder that the future is not fixed.
Yeah.
It's fluid, it's malleable, and we are the artists holding the brush.
And that's what makes this whole conversation so inspiring.
Yeah.
It's about embracing that creative power within each of us and using it to paint a future filled with purpose, meaning, and fulfillment.
It really is inspiring, like it shifts our whole perspective. From feeling like we're at the mercy of fate to realizing we have a hand in shaping our own destiny.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not just passengers on this journey, we're the captain steering the ship.
Exactly. And as we wrap up our deep dive into this article, I think it's worth circling back to that central question the author poses.
Yeah.
What bold step can you take today that will move you closer to the future you desire?
Right.
It's a call to action, an invitation to step into that captain's role and chart your own course. What resonates with you about that question?
For me, it's the emphasis on today.
Okay.
It's a reminder that we don't have to wait for some grand opportunity or perfect moment.
Right.
We can start taking action right now.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a small step. What kind of small steps might someone listening take?
Well, it could be something as simple as setting aside dedicated time each day to work on a personal project, or reaching out to someone for advice or mentorship, or even just clarifying your goals and putting them down in writing. It's about making a conscious choice to move in the direction of your dreams.
I love that idea of a conscious choice.
Yeah.
It's about shifting from a passive mindset to an active one.
Right.
Taking ownership of our future instead of just letting things happen.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be overwhelming, right?
No, not at all.
It's about focusing on those small, consistent actions that over time create big results.
Absolutely. It's about building momentum one step at a time.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really empowering message to leave with. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have it all figured out.
Yeah.
Just start taking action.
Okay.
Even if it's just one small step today, and trust that the path will unfold as you move forward.
It's like we're setting sail on an adventure.
Yeah.
And even though we might not know exactly where we'll end up,
we
can trust in the journey and the lessons we'll learn along the way.
Exactly. And I have a feeling that if you embrace that spirit of adventure, if you stay open to new possibilities and keep taking those bold steps, you'll be amazed at where you end up.
That's a great note to end on.
It is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and empowering.
Yes.
Remember, the future is yours to create.
It is.
Be bold, be daring, and go make it happen.